Alrighty, we're doing some more Mage development here. Last night I left off at trying to fix a bug with my Empower. Not necessarily a bug, but so maybe this is redundant. Maybe I can do purge. So that's fine. Empower remove. I think by doing this, it actually should remove the Empower. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if that fixes it at all. It might not, though. Oh, need my headphones on. And my headphones are in. I have to unplug my headset back in. Alright, so I get the Empower. And now this fucks up. Let's look at this log more quickly. Okay, so in here, purge temporary effect, length of 0, active positive. So do I literally just need a is valid here for some reason? And then fail out. I wonder if that works. Does not. Active positive of length 0. Oh, we're removing. So maybe we have to go here instead. Now this could be a smaller sign of something bigger going wrong, but okay, something else must be going on. Okay, so these are separate. So maybe we just, I wonder if we just do that. It might at least stop the BS. The BS crash. Okay. So it's getting past this, so this is valid. And then it's getting to here, I guess. But it's doing that, it's saying, okay, I think it's some issue higher up. So getting power, it's got to be here somewhere. So my passcode didn't do any of this. It went here. And it just removed the index, whatever. And this works, but it just doesn't update the client. So we do drain heat, and cast a fireball, and it does the damage. We cast another fireball, and it's normal damage. So this works, it just doesn't update the client. And so on purge, my purge mechanic, in purge remove, I Could try and update the empower with that, maybe. So we have the stat group ID come through here. So we're adding it to the stat add queue. Okay. Okay, so we would get so when we add an empower, it's just doing it to this thing here. Yeah, maybe as just a temporary change statistic modify. That is the function. So let's add into this stat mod group ID. I don't think I need this per se. I don't know. I guess yeah, I have it here. Okay. Okay, so that one has it. That one has it. Making sure all these are connected, so there's no like weird edge case scenarios. Okay. And now we're going to go into, I'm going to save all this. Reopen. So the important thing is to recognize like, hey, my code's working. It's just the client side that needs to be updated. So now we go to Empower. And we're just going to add that. Restart. And then when we get to the change stat modify, and we go down here, we're also going to update this with the stat mod group ID. And back to the get empower. If we go to purge remove. We're going to get this. And we're going to take and let's see if that works. Oh, wrong level. Oops. Okay, so R and fireball. Hey, there we go. All right, now let's try stacks. So now we want to go to players, the Mage, and on drain heat, we're going to give it 3 stacks. Let's see if it actually does it. So 1 and stayed, 2 and 3 gone, and 1 more fireball. It's normal. Okay, so that's working at least, but we would like to have the actual stacks update. Let me look up if I do that. Okay, so it's not showing the stacks. Okay, this time it did show the stacks, weirdly. 1, oh, it didn't overwrite. So it's not being removed. The buff's not being removed. It's not being fully purged. So that becomes a problem. So my theory is right on what I want to do. Get in power. Oh, maybe I need to purge initialize. Oh, this is what I had before. Okay. If we go here, find purge. purge initialize. And we're trying to purge the stat change. This is the information of the stat change and what it's looking for. So yeah, I think this is what I do need to figure out the bug here. Because this should get removed on its own. Let's try something a little random here. So, positive. We're going to search for each of these and look for an equal one of this. If it's true, we're going to purge this. Well, this actually was wrong, because this, I think this is still wrong. Yeah. Maybe I am just doing the my default stat change wrong. Oh, okay. Or a positive in this case. Self unavoidable purge. And the purge is action specific, positive, action name. So I should not need any of that. And even this should get removed through the purge, I believe. Let's see what happens. I'm going to change this to 1 stack. Yeah, also I want to make sure 3, if I click all this off, 0, 0. That's 1, 2, okay. So what is going on? Access none. Active positive length of 0. So we come down here, action specific. We're actually getting to purge remove. Why is this screwing up? Like normally when I do purges and set something up, it usually works. The access index from stat active positive of length 0. Let's randomly slap a do once and see if it still crashes. Is it like doing it the first time and then still looping around, and that's why it's getting a 0? Nope. So that's the strange thing, is why is just casting R even doing anything? We'll see. So maybe I do need that initial stacks setting. Okay, so 1. I keep coming back to it's gotta be this thing. That wouldn't make sense because it's getting past that point. Yeah, I mean, everything here is fine. So Why is it doing this? And if we just go back to what it was originally, it's only doing this once throughout the test, or throughout the cast. So now it's removed. So it got removed again. Interesting. Yeah, I just really have to figure out why this is coming back as nothing. Okay, so we're adding the empower. Okay, so this is what I missed before, which is why back in change stat modify, I actually didn't need this. This is why that was not there. Because it's here. Okay, that's something. And let's see if it's working at all. Which is a little bit odd because it almost feels like it wasn't working, but no. Just take this off for a sec. And now fireball. Okay, it's gone now. But it did work. And then let's go here. And it didn't get re-added because it didn't update the... Alright. So that's clarifying myself a little bit. So active, or let's go back here. And we'll go to Initialize timers, VFX, change tick, change statistic. This is like my way of ticking through stuff. I'll be with you in a sec. Hello, I'm back. Okay. So, when we remove this from the index, so this is my current question. It's obviously getting removed. So how is it being removed? So we do this. We use our fireball. It gets bonus damage. And now it got removed. Okay, so it's being removed on the actual empower check. Okay. And then now it's removed, technically. Actually, it's not removed. So what we need to do so this still return, okay. So when we first initialize the stat as an add, we add it from the empower here. Then we remove it when we're checking for empowers at the actual thing. So that's starting to make a little more. It's been a while since I've touched empower code. It's been a long while. It still goes back to the fact that, okay, so maybe wait, hold up. Okay, so this is just getting the. So, okay, so this is kind of how it's activating more than once. So this is basically checking for any type of dot or something that has an empower. That might change the duration of it. Okay. What next? So it still remains that when we get the empower, and we use it up, we're trying to remove it. Okay. This still is so weird. I don't understand why it's doing this. Purge. Let's try this again, I guess. Is it doing the purge? Let's get owner. It's trying to purge the wrong target. I have that not set up right. Is it trying to purge the target dummy and not the character? Hello, Umbra. How you doing? Okay, that's correct. Let me look for this anywhere. Just doing some more work on the Mage. I'm currently affecting, so in vertical third, I have game mechanic called Empower. And that is a simple, you get a buff on your character, and it will give bonus damage, duration, crit strike, crit chance, or crit damage for specific abilities or element types. going to delete these for now. And I am having a bug with it. That's not updating the client. I haven't used Empower in quite some time. This is a passive load. This is passive remove, so that's whatever. It's going good. I definitely am enjoying my direction with the Mage so far. Where's my Empower? Get Empower. Okay, close these. All right, let me start typing my bug out. When you get stuck on a bug, just start typing everything you've done. So first thing I've checked is it is correctly trying to purge the Mage. Empower is added during the stat add queue. Empower is removed during get Empower. And it is, I'll put this down as the second bullet. Once it is confirmed as used, a stack gets removed. And so the problem is, so I got it working where it removed the UI functionality, but it's still not removing the stat mod from the thing. I could maybe just manually do that, but it's kind of better. Like, so one of the systems I really having a good polished purge functionality in your architecture is very important. Because whenever you want to purge a buff or whatever, you want to have an easy way of doing that. And for the instance, I set up stealth to help you not get aggroed. And all I have to do is set up when you push the button again and you are already stealthed, you just purge stealth. And it's a very easy way to remove stealth from your character in a, and it's all grouped up into one system. And for some reason, my purge is not working. And all right, let me trigger the error again, and we'll walk through this once more. Now, there's a chance I have to do this with custom code anyways, because purge getting removed is a little bit different. Do that. So actor component stats, duh, in the function purge remove. Purge temporary effect. And so it's reading 0 from this somehow. Let's do a break right here. Add breakpoint. We're going to get the length and also print this. So that we're just returning the value of 2. Return value of 1. So there is something there. Yeah, I'll show you the fireballs stuff here. So there's a balance of your fireball, and the mage is the first class that just starts the game with a passive, and so that's when you critical hit, you apply a stack of burn. And so obviously in my kind of rotation rune system, critical spells will always crit. So all your critical spells will apply a stack of burn. And so your fireball by default doesn't apply burn. But once you get a crit, and you also get different fireballs per rotation rune. So this one right here is a more, red one, which we'll play with later. And this last one is a big one. It's a much bigger fireball. Boom, right? And so you see that one was a R3 crit. It crit, and it gave me passive burns. Your passive burn can stack up to 20 times. And that's where Bombard comes in. Bombard, by default, will actually apply stacks of burn. But it's a lower damage burst spell. So the trade-off there is preparing for stacking your dots, or which is a little bit less damage but better for long-term fights. And then when you finally get the crit, it actually still applies the passive. And so your Q3 they're applied like 10 stacks, because it's 5 fireballs. By default, they apply a stack, and then the crits apply a stack as well. And so now you have this big rolling kind of crit dot going off, going for 42 damage a tick. And so that's some of the balance. And then in the future, one of my abilities will be Ignite, where you basically explode all your ticks. It's kind of like it's meant to be an execute spell. And so all of your stacks of burn will get erased, but it'll do big damage based on how many stacks you have. And so the philosophy, again, it's like, as a slow-paced game, you're probably going to have like 5 or 6 damage buttons off on cooldown. So it's not a matter of which ones you press in a certain order. It's decision-making on what is the correct situational choice to do those things. If it's a longer duration fight, maybe you go stack a bunch of dots on it so you can get effective burn damage out of it. But if it's a shorter duration fight, maybe Fireball is the choice. And then either situation, Ignite is going to be something you use when it's a target's low health and you've established a little bit of actual stacks on something. And if you don't have, it might not be worth it to use Ignite unless you have lots of stacks on it. And then the thing I'm working on right now is Drain Heat. And so I'm basically trying to basically have a whole kind of system around empowering your kind of fireball and fire damage. And so you cast Drain Heat on a target, gives you a buff, and now your first fireball you cast does big damage. And so obviously this is like fake values right now, just to show that it's working. But so that's kind of the key is you're going to be getting this balance of using fireball, but also stacking your burn through bombard, and then making sure you buff yourself up through drain heat and absorb heat. Maybe absorb heat might be a better name for it, but there'll be a whole bunch of different ways to absorb heat from like multiple targets, and it's like a non-damage spell too, right? So it's a lot of that. It's like preparing yourself in the future, and thinking about the future and what you need to do. Why does it do a low damage of 13 only? I haven't done a lot of balanced number stuff, right? So I'm not like I do a little bit of number damage tweaking, right? But not a lot yet. And so there's things that damage numbers, especially the mage too. Like I haven't touched damage numbers at all really. So it's one of those things. I'm mostly figuring out the spells themselves and the overall design of the kit, and damage numbers and tweaks and stuff that kind of comes later. And so the thing I'm trying to do now, I might just, for the sake of time, we're going to just do this. So we're going to do the empower loss. We're going to come through here. We're going to no, we don't have any headshot type thing. You don't really see that in tab target MMOs. We're a tab target MMO, and we don't really want there to be any type of aim based thing, because that's just not the mechanics we want to be a skill factor in the game. So this was working as well. So we remove the empower. We also remove the temporary effect through, I think, we have to do it here. I'm going to ignore this for now. Yeah, it's one of those things for like skill depth in the game is going to, we want it to be much more about game knowledge and positioning, environmental awareness, game, like knowledge of the fight and things, like not aim based, not button mashing or rotation, those things. Yeah, we're like the PvP we get whenever we do get into PvP, it's probably going to be its entirely own game. It'll probably be like queue up for a battleground, and you might not even use your own personal character. You might have we might have a completely different system for PvP. Okay, we're going to do that, but then we also have to we also have to go, maybe we go, so now we go positive. For each break. But even on New World, like, it was kind of frustrating at times. Now that's a different style of combat, right? It's more action combat. Um, all right, I need a for each with break. Um, and so now we come through here. Oh, this is going to have to be done at the end. Order of events going on here. This comes through. We look to see if these match. And then I guess we need an array of, just to cover myself in the future, local empowers. And this needs to be an array. If I can click right. Okay, and then empowers will always be positive, so we don't think I ever need to do a negative version. And so we don't need a break, because we're always going to filter through every single one. And then we go for each of these. We're going to remove index. Element. And then we just come back down here. All right, so this is kind of, so this is the remove the buff, the empower, from the client UI. Then here is find the empower stat mod group ID, remove all associated with it from the stat change queue. All right, let's see if that works. So another game for PvP. You can add some call scenes in game where PvP is enabled, like people different classes can fight. That could be cool. Your game could support emulators, or is there a cheating prevention system? I'm cheating by using emulators to play the game in Linux. The only type of anti-cheat we'll use is actual easy anti-cheat from the Epic Online Services. That's likely the only type of anti-cheat we'll have. It's one of those like choices of development of reducing scope and let Epic Games build the crazy good anti-cheat that's used for Fortnite, and we don't have to worry about it. Okay. And gone? Not gone. Why are you not gone? Is this working here? Yeah, so I would assume easy anti-cheat is fine on any system it supports. So again, because we have a dedicated server, there's not a whole lot people can do. Most anti-cheat comes from your good architecture code and multiplayer code, and making sure it's client server authoritative, which I am religious about. So that's 1, 2, and so I'm having weird stacks happen. Is it that? If I set it to 0, is it only... I've never heard of anti-cheat taking revenue, but it's a free service from Epic Online Services, so it's free for me. Like, why am I getting 2 stacks? I don't understand that. Where is the 2 stacks coming from? It should either be 3 stacks, or if we put that to 1, and that to 1. I'm going to try just disabling this and do 0, 0. What happens? Oh, yeah, that's weird. I never would expect an anti-cheat to take revenue cut. That's crazy. Okay, so nothing. Even though at the bottom here we have, let's put that to 3. Let's see if that does anything. Okay, 3 works. 2, and it just got removed. Why is it? So it's short of, so if I make this 5, do I get forecasts? Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I'm biased, right? I made my own game architecture. I feel like a lot of companies just they don't do enough proper game architecture stuff and properly do client server authoritative things. And then companies that build their own network stack too, like obviously, so that's 3. I think I get 1 more. And then okay. So I'm getting 1 less than the value I'm supposed to be. So it's probably so this has to be less than 0. Less than 0, probably. Yeah, it's like, so that again, it goes back to like my model for our company and staying very lean financially. We're using out of the box Unreal networking, and that's backed by Fortnite. We're using out of the box, easy anti-cheat eventually. We don't have it in yet, but and so now just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and that still doesn't work. Oh, so we need to do not the if this here equals or less than 0, not the 1 minus version. And then we can just like do that, I guess. And maybe that fixes it. But yeah, so many MMOs just try and reinvent the wheel in so many ways, it hurts them, right? Whether it's some sort of big piece of technology, some sort of, like so many MMOs try to innovate on netcode. And you saw that with Ashes, right? They had this whole network meshing graph thing. And it cost them a lot of money to do that. It's expensive to hire their proper engineers for that. They were trying to do ground-breaking networking technology. You look at Throne and Liberty, right? That game was in development for like 7 or 10 years or something to come out. And they had to do that for their big mass battles. Why do I feel like that's still not adding right? So if I set this to 1, it should give me 1. Okay, it removed it. Let me try and cast again. It's down to nothing. And then I go here and set it to 2. One and 2, and it removed it. Okay, it's counting properly now. All right, that's good. And so this is the stacks that matter. The ones up here do not for the empower. That's what I want to see. And now we get the empower. And now for some reason, which this was working prior, this was working. Get empower, stack group ID. Oh, because this is actually getting removed first. So if I only do this, I think it's working. But because they get removed in the same frame, it's getting removed on the client before it even has a chance to remove the stat ID. Oh, duh, I'm not. Right, I'm not removing this. Am I? Does it matter? Maybe I am doing something wrong. Some game dev use kernel-based development for more FPS. I really want to know how they make game kernel responsive without OS interference. Yeah, take care, Umbra. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Oh, am I even adding this now? This is probably coming up empty or 0. I could probably just change how I'm adding this stuff now. Yeah, it's coming with 0. So I might be able to just go to... Well, let me go back to... so empower add... Does this have the what I want? It does. So now we need to set member instruct this. And let's see if that works now. Okay. Okay, it's removed. All right. And then now, do I get my buff back? Okay, we're in action. Oh, we're not in action. It didn't. Oh, because I didn't. Okay, dirt. I have it all disconnected. So this goes back down here. This goes here. This goes here. This goes over here. And now I think we're finally in the money. The only thing I might have to do is somehow update the stacks every time one gets used. Okay. Drain heat. Gives me empowered fireball for 2 casts. 1 and 2. Buff gets removed from the client. And we can successfully cast it again. We get the buff back. And it's applied. 1 and 2. And it's gone. Alright, so the empower is finally working. The next thing we need to do is make sure we somehow update the stacks properly. Hello, Justin, the voice actor. We do not need actors at this time. We're kind of sticking to just a 2-person team right now. And we're not taking on any type of volunteer or anything. Just because we're like, we don't have like the legal stuff oriented and things, so. You can always, feel free to join our Discord server. It probably will be a while before we take on voice actors. But should we ever need them, there might be an announcement in our Discord for that type of thing. Okay, so I think I finally got this. I just need the stacks to update. So first up, back when we add this to the positive thing, so I wonder if I can just mimic that. So if that's at 2, just for the sake of not having to change any more code. If we do this, does it update properly? Okay, it has 2. So that's easy enough, just workflow for now. And then I need a way for it to remove stacks. is my well, you see, my little brother wants to act in a solo game because I work in a solo game, and the stuff he's casted in, I'm casted in. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not at that stage. Like we're only with this project's only been around for like a year and a half ish, so we're just not that far along, and we're not even funded or anything, right? So yeah, I understand. I just we don't have a story. We don't have we have like two NPCs, maybe two or three NPCs. Like we're not even close to that stage of wanting to even work on something like that. Okay, so we come through here, duplicate check, change add queue, change statistic add. I'm trying to remember where I even add the UI component to this. Thank you. Yeah, good luck yourself. All right, here's the stat add show on UI. Player is true. Add temporary effect. Okay. So this is where it is. And so I could get the value technically. So if the statistic equals and empower, false, we go down here. And then the stacks are going to come from empower. And so now I can keep this at 0.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more. I mean, technically, I shouldn't even have the Empower Stack section. That's probably the better workflow. Um, that's actually the better workflow. I'm going to delete this. We come through here. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to um, actually fix my architecture here. So there should actually be no reason to have the empower stack section or value. You should just use the core stack value in the main stat change thing. So we're going to go to our stack component and go to empower, and we're just going to delete stacks.
Look at my 10 feet long cord.
Oh wow, that's a
I
long
got a
cord.
new one because my pink one is starting to do that thing where like if you don't put it the exact angle, then it won't charge.
Yep. Alright, I'm going to delete this and hit save. Close everything and reopen. And now we go back to the level. And so this here is, okay, so this is kind of the annoying part I didn't think about. So I'm short forming the empower stuff, so it's a little bit easier to update. Do I keep it? Because otherwise I have to do this. Get the stat mod ID. And then sugar plums. Screw it, I'll do it for now. It's only going to do it when this thing actually shows up as an empower. Yeah, so we're going to get this. We're going to do for each. This will go to complete. For each. Break. Is that Tifa, Ari? Hello, Dejalong. How are you doing today? Oh, I guess I can just set stacks. Empower stacks. Oh, BRB. All right, I'm actually gonna go do a food break and take my kiddo out. So I will be back probably in 1 to 2 hours, I think, and I will reconvene my mage stuff. I'm trying to think if I even want to do this this way. Empower stacks. You know what? I'm gonna save all. I think I'm gonna revert that. Change. Stacks underscore temporary effect. And then this just goes here.